Hey guys, it's Sean and as part of my son's homeschool, he'll be doing theme-based activities. So we're going to start off with the farm. So I'm just going to give you a couple of ideas of different activities you can do with your toddler or preschooler for homeschool, learning about the farm. So the first setup here is just a simple block area setup. So just have his farmhouse, his little chicken house over here, the silo, different blocks and different animals, and he's free to just create any kind of scene he wants with these animals and the little farmers. The next activity I have planned here is for his fine motor and motor skills in general. So the first activity I have is just connecting these different fence pieces back together. So he'll just simply, sorry it's hard to do it with one hand, but just connecting the fences together, or putting these pumpkins came from Shopkins, so just putting them back together. I thought those are good little activities for him to connect things, so I have a bunch of these little pumpkins. Another activity I had for his motor skills is trying to use these little tweezers and maybe picking up these hay bales and putting them in his silo. And we can also use this for counting, so he can count 3 bales of hay as he puts them in. So I just thought that was a fun activity. Also, he could try to pick up this pumpkin here. If he can't use the tweezers, then he can use his hands. So that's another activity. Another one I had was these little chicks. So these, I believe, I got in the Easter aisle at Dollarama during Easter. So they just simply wind up. So he has to wind them up and then make them jump around. So that's what they do. Next activity I have here is like a kind of like a science activity. It's matching the cow and the chicken to the things that they produce. So we've already been working this on in his toddler binder, but this is more like a hands-on activity. So you can match this piece of chicken to the chicken, milk to the cow, eggs to the chicken, and this piece of steak to the cow. Next activity I had planned was for art. We had already done this activity last year, but I think it's another good one to do because he enjoyed sticking his hands and making these. So basically this is my handprint and his handprint, and it's supposed to be like a turkey. So we did each handprint, I added the details in, and then I had him glue the feathers over his hand and my hand, and then glue some straw down here to, make some turkeys. Another art activity you can do is simple, is let him create, or your child create their own barn scene. So you could draw a little barn and then just have them stick the little stickers onto the barn, or around in a fence area. And this is also good for fine motor because they have to use their fingers to peel off the stickers. Next activity I have here is a thinking and science activity. So these are magnets, so he'll learn that magnets stick to different things like the fridge, but they won't stick to the table. So this is his magnet board. So this will just have him match up the animal puzzle pieces together. So I will also work on his language skills, so teach him each animal's name. We can also say the color of the animal. This next activity would be working on his practical life skills, so cutting fruits and vegetables. So the set came with this cutting board and these different fruits and vegetables and that knife. So basically I just hand him the little plastic knife and ask him to cut each fruit and vegetable open. So that's a practical life activity you can do with your child. You can also give them, like I've done with real banana and a butter knife, and had him cut that. The next activities are for language and also sensory for this one particular item. So this is a see and say. So basically turn this little handle here.
The cow says.
Yeah, So just say the animals' names and what sounds they make. It's also good for when we start zoo animals, because it has zoo animals on this side. And then next I have this little color wheel. This is by Crayola. And basically they just pull out and it reveals the color. So we just have a little cat there, the green leaf, the grapes, and on the side there's a sun, a little bird that's blue, and a little red flower. So that's good to go over his colors with him. Next we have this little book. It's just a little book about a hen, and it makes the hen sound, so it's also good for sensory. And I can just read this little story to him about this hen. You can use any basic farm animal book for when you're learning about farms, or you can just get little flashcards with farm animals and talk about the animals. Those are all good language activities you could do. The last category I have for farm-based activities are the sensory ones. So I have two different ones. One is with these little plastic onions and different carrots. And I was thinking of filling this bucket with this potting soil from the dollar store. And then he could use these tools to dig them out of the soil. We can learn that these items like onions, and we can also talk about potatoes. I couldn't find the potatoes at the moment. And carrots all grow under the ground, so you need to dig them out. And then he could just put them, once he's dug them, into this basket. We could also count these. This is good for counting, like 3 carrots, 2 onions, 2 baby carrots, stuff like that. And then another sensory activity I came up with are these are his little farm trucks and tractors. So I thought we could spray some of this. This came from Shoppers Drug Mart for like $4. It's just like spray foam soap. So he could spray that on his vehicles and then use his little scrub brush to clean them. Anyways, this is some ideas I had for learning about the farm. And an also activity we have planned is visiting our Riverdale farm. It's a free farm here in Toronto, so that's another good activity you can do. Just take the kids down to a little farm if you have one in your area. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.